Welcome to AJC Bridge. In this tutorial, we'll walk through the settings page and focus on the requirements that must be completed before your business can start fiscalizing invoices through VSMS. Start by opening Settings from the sidebar. At the top of the page, you'll see the current business, a setup completion indicator, and a connection health summary. If anything is missing, AJC Bridge shows a checklist of required setup steps. Fiscalization cannot begin until those required items are complete. The first requirement is the Xero Connection. AJC Bridge needs an active Xero connection so it can sync invoices, read payment information, refresh Xero tax rates, and attach fiscal receipts back to the original Xero documents. If Xero is not connected, click Connect to Xero, sign in, choose the correct organization, and allow access. Once connected, the page will show the Xero organization name. Next, review submission rules. The most important setting here is fiscal invoice mode. For most businesses, cash basis is recommended. In cash basis mode, AJC Bridge fiscalizes an invoice only when the Xero invoice is paid. In accrual mode, invoices become eligible as soon as they are created or synced from Xero, which can require manual reversal if the invoice is edited later. Now set the fiscalization start date. This is required if you want AJC Bridge to fiscalize invoices automatically. It controls which invoices are in scope for VSMS. Invoices dated before this date are ignored and marked as not required. Choose the date that matches the business's legal VSMS deadline, or choose the Now option if the business is ready to begin immediately. If you want AJC Bridge to submit eligible invoices automatically, enable Auto Submit to VSMS via webhook. With this on, Bridge submits invoices when the relevant Xero event happens. With it off, users can still submit manually from the invoice screen. Also, review product line descriptions. This controls how Xero line item descriptions appear on the fiscal record, including the VSDC journal, QR code verification page, and attached receipt PDF. Choose Full to send Xero descriptions as is. If the descriptions contain commercially sensitive information, or if they may exceed SDC display limits, choose Truncate to shorten them, or Generic to replace them with simple labels such as Line Item 1 and Line Item 2. Next, go to Fiscalization Credentials. Enter the business TIN, which is the tax identification number registered with VSMS. Then enter the PAC code from the VSMS or TAP certificate request process. The PAC code should be 6 letters or numbers. This field auto-saves after entry. Now move to TaxCore certificates. Upload the VSMS issued authentication certificate. In most cases, VSMS provides a zip file. Unzip it and use the file ending in .chain.p12. You can drag the certificate into the upload box or click to browse. The certificate requires a password. Enter the PFX password issued during VSMS enrollment and click Unlock. Once loaded, AJC Bridge extracts the certificate and private key in the browser, then securely saves the certificate material. The original PFX file and password are not stored. Next, open TaxCore tax rates and click Refresh Tax Rates. This is required before fiscalization. AJC Bridge fetches the official TaxCore labels and rates from the live VSDC and also refreshes the Xero tax rate list used for mapping. After the rates are loaded, go to Tax Rate Mapping. Map each active Xero revenue tax rate to the correct TaxCore label. This step is required because every invoice line must be submitted with the correct VSMS tax category. Unmapped active Xero tax rates block fiscal submission. The payment type mapping section is optional for most businesses. The default payment type is enough unless the business needs different Xero bank or clearing accounts to report as different VSMS payment types, such as cash, card, wire transfer, or mobile money. In sync settings, make sure auto-sync invoices from Xero is turned on. This is important because if auto-sync is disabled, new Xero invoices, credit notes, and quotes will not be fetched automatically into AJC Bridge. The business would need to sync manually before those records can be reviewed or fiscalized. If the business also uses another fiscalization system, review fiscalization exceptions. You can tell AJC Bridge to ignore invoices for selected Xero contacts, or invoices whose Xero reference contains a marker such as VSMS-POS. Use this only when those sales have already been fiscalized elsewhere. Finally, click Save Settings. Remember that the PAC code and certificate save automatically, but other settings such as fiscalization mode, start date, tax mapping, exceptions, and sync settings require save settings. Once the setup checklist is clear, AJC Bridge has the required pieces in place. Xero is connected, the fiscalization start date is set, the TIN and PAC are present, the TaxCore certificate is loaded, TaxCore rates are refreshed, and Xero tax rates are mapped. At that point, the business is ready to start fiscalization. Eligible invoices will either submit automatically if auto-submit is enabled, or they can be submitted manually from the invoice screen.